What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the shoe market meeting the Yu-Gi-Oh market. Get to the cards, John. I'm tired of the merch. Well, for this 5th Adidas collab that has leaked out over on Reddit, there is a card this time, and it's pretty darn special if the picture is accurate. It looks like that chopped up special prismatic foiling rather than just a regular prismatic secret rare that's been brought back. And then in the flavor text box has Adidas stamped into the card. So this cultural icon shoe along with the Dark Magician. Yes, it's DM era boomer bait, but this entire collab has been. And then it has the 5th and final piece of Exodia, the head, also the most desirable. And people are saying, I know looks are subjective, that this shoe looks the best out of all 5 collabs that Adidas has done. Again, this is a leak, but I think it's way too high effort. We also see how the card comes in the shoebox. It's this peel off kind of thing where the card is down in there. And I think so many people are going to be after the card alone. Now, for me personally, being in a lot of collectible markets, I like to keep the entire collectible together. I think it's worth the most when you do that, but I also understand people who get the shoes and go, man, this card could get me the price of the shoes back or more, ending up selling the card depending on the price. So do what's best for you, but I suggest personally keeping it all together as a collectible. When we look at the other shoes that have dropped, they are like triple in price. And remember, the app crashed. It sold out in 20 minutes for the Dark Magician and Blue Eyes shoes. The Blue Eyes ones did go faster and first, but for any desirable size like 11, 12s, they are a super premium. And again, if you have smaller feet, good for you. You'll probably get yours a little easier, but with a card included this time, I think every single size is probably going to go a little bit faster. But that's the merch news of the day, along with a super special promo. Now, going into the cards, a lot of people have been asking me when Gamer's Choice would get up the 25th anniversary packs, and they have got the booster boxes and booster cases available. Code What'sGood5 for 5% off, and to support the channel directly will work over here. Again, I would not get these to bust. If you're going after cards inside even to grade, I would go for the singles elsewhere and kind of see them in person. I think this will be busted open a ton for people wanting an experience, and that's again the only reason I would open it is memory lane, the experience, in which case I'd get a box or two, not an entire case. But if you want them in order to be like a collectible in the future, I do think we've had examples of these aging well in the past, but this is going to be a heck of a lot of printed, and then Konami can also do it as a 30th. So when it comes down to this, take your own risk when going for it, but I do think a lot of these, especially LOB and the Legendary Collection itself too, are pretty good sealed products. Again, code What'sGood5 for 5% off, and to support the channel directly over at Gamer's Choice on those. Now, speaking of another seal that we've already covered that has been rebounding, Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge. It's going kind of crazy on its set list. All of the vanilla limbs are hitting around 300 and are on buyout mode too, which means 8 out of 10 Starlights are decent-ish pulls. Of course, the huge winners are Exodia and Access Code Talker, but when that comes to case busting now, if you're actually getting sales at these rates, it's pretty incredible on the actual kickback when people are going. Now, the tankers are Armor Master and Yada, so there's 2 really bad ones for the 2 really good ones, and you're still at absolute risk if you're case diving. But the cards inside also have a little something happening, despite that bust open after the Starlight. Clockwork Knight has consistently gone up here now, and I feel like it's more of a casual bait card to a degree, but also with huge potential. I mean, you read it, all monsters are now machine, everything gets slurped by Cyber Dragon. It is impressive, and it has the ability to get better in later Yu-Gi-Oh! So I understand the why people both on a casual and future competitive level are looking at this card and going after it. But it's very interesting how it's now on the front page a $6 card after the 5s are gone, and Toon BLS continues to just creep slowly. It's stuck really that $8 price. Troll and Toad, I think, even has it over on their buy list at $6, so after fees, what people would be taking versus platforms, that's a bit interesting as well, just to note. So a lot of these are going. And then Ian Shuffle is another one that has just consistently gone back up and is pretty much a solid 5 now. A lot of really good cards in that mid-range, but no super bangers, just Access Code Talker, right? But a lot of potential to go up. It'll be interesting interesting to see as people continue to case bust and chase Starlights and go after that grading system, how it will do. Again, I'm not the biggest on grading, especially with Unlimited when it comes to the 25th packs we talked about also, but I think a lot of grade hunters will be in there when it comes to the 25th. We talked about Cartesia going up for her secret rare, both in the EU and US, but the Starlight rare is something I didn't consider as much immediately, and the sales rates on her is absurd. You can see she's been going up over the past couple of days from 180, now selling for $30 more at 211, and those disappear pretty fast, like 215, one at 220 before it's all the way up to 280. So if you've been thinking about this card for some time, it is going up, and it's likely about to skyrocket after those couple are gone. But also there's people with Starlights that hold back, wait for these moments, and then, oh, they're all gone, I'm going to post mine for 250. So keep that in mind too. If you're like buying an, oh yeah, this is the time it's going to jump $60, that there's also people that end up waiting for stuff like that. Absolute Zero has a triple down buyout. We've covered this again for past formats. People really love this one. And when it comes down to it, we're seeing a double triple down buyout on the Battles of Legend version, going absolutely absurd in price for an ultra rare out of the Battles of Legend. And then you also have Tournament Pack 5 getting up there once again. I think it's about a $10 card. Yeah, this person has 100 of them. Oh, they're French. Okay. And then it's 11. And then I was wondering how they had 100. Again, really smart when you play that international game of, oh, it's not so crazy on the EU market. Let me get them over here and try to make something and be the lowest near mint listing. But it is a foreign copy, which doesn't sell as fast. Really, that I like that. I'm sorry. I got to break it down because I've actually talked about this with Legendary Duelist 5 back in the day when Malicious Bane was super short printed over here and still shorted in the EU, but not as bad. And people went over and brought back copies, 60, 70, and also vendors came to YCSs from the EU with those, selling them and making more over here. So it's really like this ingenuity kind of thing of looking at resources in certain areas and playing to a market. And the American market could use a lot more cool-offs like that, so I do like it. Ancient Guardians, one of the top failing sets of all time. Well, you're not going to replenish cards from it anytime soon, right? The Sutff Accords get new support, and Best Girl, you can fight me, Fancia is actually bought out for her collector rare and ultra. If I do recall, I do think that this was a short printed ultra. I would have to go back and look. I remember Coolia being the one that originally was the top price though, but I think Fancia is. But her ultra rare is up there in price, and the collector rare also going up, and you see a lot of other Sutff Accord collector rares starting to baby bump and go up in price, including Coolia. Skull Servant got a super rare. I just completely blanked out of my head that happened. It's in the Speed Duel Tournament Pack 3, but when it comes to tournament packs and Speed Duels, those prices don't necessarily stay up. We'll talk about that in a bit, but I never bet against Skull Servants. One effect that is having though, where you can look at old cards or certain versions, they're not bulletproof. You have the Legendary Collection 3 Yu-Gi World, which is a higher rarity at ultra rare for this vanilla, but you can see the Unlimited start to actually go down as people are going, well, I could still get a super rare holo even though it says Speed Duel. So cards like these, even with a cooling collector market, aren't immune to reprints affecting them having a mid rarity versus a max rarity, although a lot of people would still go for the first edition LOB common. There's also a super rare King of the Skull Servants. It kind of gets a ride in terms of how it goes. It's like a dollar movement, though the graph's crazier than it seems, but up there towards $7, $8 where it's been chilling for some time. The ultra rare is just absurdly priced for a Speed Duel Ultra, but again, they get that way, and Skull Servants have that huge fan base. But going back into the tournament pack not being immune, look at the year graph for Dark Magician Girl here. Attempted buyout, you know, it was 12 for the longest, came back all the way down, creeping, oh, it's back to 3, oh, we're gonna pump it again, and oh, creeping down, and now available once again in English around $3.50, plenty of them all the way through the front page under $4. This is a holographic OG art Dark Magician Girl for the TCG. I know, not uncensored or anything, but still a holographic version in a tournament pack. And back in the day when it was $3, I thought that was a great buy, and there's multiple times where you could have offloaded them 6s, 12s. It went all the way to 18 at one point, but here it is. all the way through that ride, back at $3 with people trying to pump a heartbeat into it. The collector market has a lot of different phases in it, and a lot of different ways that money goes. You have the new prismatic secret rare Dark Magician Girl out of the tins, and it's coming down in price over time versus what people were originally into it. There's no definitive, definite, yeah, this is the call, this is it. And anyone who says otherwise, like, there's going to be moments there, right? But super long term, like, I would have thought this would be better at this point, like trying to be stably 6 to 7, and it's just not. So I can be wrong. That's why I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know the future of card prices, and things like this can take wild turns and rides. The Gate Guardian Piece Secret Rares are slightly up. I did call that, but what I didn't look around at were other odd-off versions. It completely blanked my mind that there were Retro Pack 1 rares, and while the sales rates are nothing to brag about, in fact, maybe some listings were pulled, they just don't exist on the market for any kind of good price. $6.9, not so nice for a rare sewage, and $69, oh my gosh. Sanga of Thunder also up there, $20-ish before it's gone. And Kazagen, oh, the left behind one in this situation, there's an $8 and $10 one before it's on full buyout mode. So there's the old versions, and I gotta admit, the Rare Gate Guardian, I think it's out of DLG 1 or something like that. I always found it pretty cool and would pick it out of bulk, and these pieces would match it, so I would keep them to the side too. Even through the eras where they weren't as collectible, I'd be like, they're from the show, I remember these moments, remember when? And they're really cool pieces, but at the same time, I don't think they're worth any kind of crazy money, but the market will dictate itself. The sales rates, as you can see though, just aren't there in any kind of support of that. And I was looking through ghosts from the past too also, which I put very low on my listings of sets from 2022, Roxin. But jokes aside, when it comes to the set, the ghosts have declined a lot over time, and I do think there's something to be said when we're talking about like collectible cards and their other versions, that there can be fatigue here when it comes to these, and they won't always overperform. That's why I do think, wrapping full conversation, that this Dark Magician has something else special for it with the Adidas collab, something that sets it aside, something that's, oh, this is another version, but this time it has all this going for it. Like, you can put Ghost Rare, a rarity that people have waited for forever in Yu-Gi-Oh!, then you have all the problems in the printing and other things, but having an X factor past what already exists, it's kind of the next level. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. Let me know what you thought about everything, because there's tons of movement all over both the collectible, casual, and competitive sectors going through these recent videos.